Good morning. What we're going to be starting on today is that we're going to be tying all of our different components that we've been writing together. Currently, things are not necessarily following the correct order of when they're loading. So we need to separate the hub into two different hubs, one for the app and one for the room, and then make sure that we're passing the correct data along each parts of the path. Why don't we go ahead and get started? So the first thing I need to do is I need to start up my front end. So let's do an ng serve with an open to open it up in a browser. So the way this game works is that it's going to choose the most voted character, and that will be the vote for the group. And here's our front end app with where we left it, and we can log in, and I don't think the back end is running at the moment, so we need to get that going. And one thing I wanted to add in here was on my, let's take a look at this project here. I want to look at the libraries, and I want to make a new song queued history folder. And what this one is it's the same thing as this, with a song request in it, but we want it to be in a different a different table. So we'll add in a song here. And this one needs to be inside of a base entity. And we want to say that this history record is going to have its own table called song requests history. And when I look at a song queued here, this is already making the connections here for a application user in a room. And if I look at an application user, it should have a collection here of song queued, and it does. So I think for song transition, this history, I think we're going to want to have on this a has been played and the played timestamp. Like that. Do I need the has been played? Probably yes. No, played timestamp should be enough. And then that should be good there. Now if I look at my application user, I'm going to need to have a number of these song queued histories. Called songs queued history. And then I'm going to need the same on the room. Song queued history. Is this app you're making kind of like a plugin DJ? What it is it's a community music request and listening to app. So this is going to be my songs queued history. Hey there, Coding Panda 42. Good morning. How are you doing today? Welcome to the channel. Songs queued history. Like that. And then the last one was on the song needs to have these song request history. Like that. And this is called songs queued history, and this will just be called songs request. When I look at a song view model now, I need to make sure that this has a song requests, and then I don't care about the history, so we don't even need to make any records for that. That just needs to be in my... Hey Codephobia, welcome to the channel. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Go ahead and pop them into the chat. We'll make sure we get them answered for you. The little words are always the hardest. Okay, So now that I have a history record here, I want to look at my code first database, and I want to add in here a song queued histories. Songs queued history. And then in this one, this is where we're dequeuing and playing the next song. And this is going to be my var next song, like that, from the playlist. And then if we get one, then I want to say var history equals new song queued history, like this, which is going to be a application user is equal to your ID. But it's supposed to be the one, oh yeah, that's right. And then my played timestamp is datetime.utc now. My room is equal to my queued song next dot. Actually, I have this already as a room ID. My song ID is equal to my queued song next dot song ID. My weighted value just a second. My weighted value is going to be equal to my 0 in this case. The transactions, I think this goes away. Because we're going to just have our queued history needs to have a new GUID for my ID here, which needs to be a key, and then it needs to be database generated as a database generated option dot none. So we do need to have the ID in here is equal to my next. Well, so this is a song queued history needs to have a type on it, which is going to be a prompt song request type, which will be a song request type, which we need to add on to my enums here, called a public enum called song request type, and it's going to be a queued or a playlist. And we also want to put this one on the song request. I'm going to call this a song request history. And we'll also add that here. And then also we need to add that onto my DTOs here. So my song request type. And then the song request VM. Okay. Now that I've done that, code phobia, do's, that could be it. It could be dies. Oh no, couldn't. It could be does. Could be do's. Okay, your ID here is your new ID, GUID.newGUID, because it doesn't have a connection to anything. Song request type here is playlist. And then I want to do a context dot songs queued history dot add this new record. And we're going to change the name of this to be called songs request history. Like that. And this is a song playlist VM. And here we're returning the queued song next. So let's change this a little bit and do a return my next song playlist. And here we'll just do this again. Like that. Else we will. Nicely done. Congratulations, Dakotas. You can check what you currently have with HHZ. You want to play again? Like that. Okay. That looks good. Now we have a history record in there. And here I want to do a new history record here for my song request where I'm going to do a context.queued songs songs queued, and we're going to remove my queued song next, and then I want to do a songs history, and we're going to add this application ID, which is actually going to be my queued song next application ID, time, the room, the song ID, the weighted value here is my queued song next weighted value. The ID is the queued song next ID. It's going to be a queued song. That's really cool. Have you thought about making a Twitch extension for the game? I have. I would like to make one for the leaderboard of the HHZ records, and we were for the HHZ rewards, and we would put that in a panel. But I also thought that when you vote, that it could be done with a overlay, with like a keyboard that would pop up and you could click on it. You guys like the game? You think it's good? You want to play another one? Let me know if you want to play another one. We can start it right up. So that looks good. And then we're going to return all this. Finally, this needs to return a null. And we'll do a return null here. This should allow me to change this into a conditional. There we go. That's good. It would be cool to be able to click the letter to vote for, and it would make less chat. Yeah, we've tried to remove as much as from the chat spam as possible. Okay. So we've corrected that and added in a history record, which is good. So now we need to look at my code first here. I'm going to say add migration included history records. And to code, one of the things that I need to do in the game is that if we have a vote that's tied, for example, if you vote for E and I vote for F, right, and then it's tied, it'll restart the round. And what I need to do is I need to have a second vote on just those characters that's shorter, and then after that, it'll just randomly choose one if there's another tie. It's an extension. You can make channels battle each other. That's true. It's a little challenging because the game is connected to the entire overlay, which is done in Unity 3D. So I'd have to release a game on Steam for the overlay. Or if I look here at my... Hey there, Z Doctor. How are you doing? Welcome with a raid of 7. Good morning. Damel Can't Fly, Z Doctor. How are you guys doing? Welcome. If you guys have any questions when I'm working on it, don't hesitate to put them in the chat. My name is Rob, streaming during the week, a little bit during the week, and we're working on OpenDJ Radio, which is an Angular CLI app. It's using ASP.NET. It's using ASP.NET Core Web API for the backend and SignalR as a data transfer layer. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them into the chat. We need to add here, this new entity is going to have a new song request history, which has one application user with many song request histories, and we want to restrict it. We need to do the same thing on the room. And then we need to do the same thing on the song. And now let's see if I can just update the database. I probably need to rescaffold it. I like this, says Damel Can't Fly. You like the game that we're playing? Or use the HTML5 export for the overlay and include it with the extension if possible. Now that I would totally do. Except they really block a lot of the front end stuff in Twitch overlay. I tried to use Phaser.io and it wouldn't let me. It's damn I can't fly. Got it. Damn I can't fly. Damn I can't fly. Thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. We got an active and supportive community. Thank you for being a part. Let me go ahead and hook up to the SQL server real quick. So to do that, I need to jump into my FreeNAS. And I need to input a password real quick. Just a second here. Just a second while I put a password in. Back with you. Okay. Here's the SQL server. We can go ahead and look at my OpenDJ Radio, and I need to refresh it. Z Doctor, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate it. You have any questions, please make sure that you pop them into the chat. You can use Phaser. They've become more relaxed as the extension program has grown. Oh, okay. Then yeah, I could definitely put this out there as an extension. Is there a way to make profit off of this? I'm not sure. That's the thing. Like, PHS could use additional revenue coming in. I don't know if there's a way to hook this thing up for that. I think I'm too tired after 7 hours of streaming to understand what's going on in terms of the game or what it is that I'm developing. This is what I'm deleting here. OpenDJ Radio. So we're going to scrap that. And then we can scrap all my migrations and do a add migration, and we'll do an init. You can sell the extension where the broadcaster has to pay to install it. Interesting. Interesting. I'd have to make some modifications. Anything. I legit have no idea what you're deving or what you're working on. So this is I think it's because I'm tired. Okay, well, no worries. Hey, Fur ID, welcome. You can make sure you guys try to get your votes to have a majority right now, or else it'll just restart the round indefinitely. I'll take a vote for R. Okay, we're good to go. Database has been updated. Now the next thing is I want to start to move some of these things back to where they actually belong. So base poll here, this should go in the domain BLL here. Right here. We want to change this to be a domain.bll.nothing. And then the same thing here with base poll. We can leave these two polls need to get moved to this BLL. Now I can remove them from here. So my currency poll needs to be in the .bll.polls. Same thing with the events. Let's go ahead and move those here. BLL.events.args. Yeah, it's kind of like Hangman. It's called Hungry Hungry Zombies. Ooh, that's going to be rough. I don't know what that could be. Base pulling event args needs to be in the domain BLL. And we need to make a new folder in here called events and add my args into it and add my event handlers into events. Like that. And then this is events.args. And then also I need to move my services into the data access layer. Okay, now I can rebuild it. Got your vote for H there, Dakota. I think it's hurry. So you can't vote for the whole word. You have to get it for letter by letter, but maybe I should add something in so that you can guess. We need to add in our references here. So it's going to take a little bit here to get them all in. almost done here. So DJ, what is it going to do? Play music? Yeah, it's a music request app. And it'll be responsible for handling our music on stream so that we're still able to enjoy song requests, but I don't end up with the songs on the recordings. And then that way it'll be a game that will handle song requests, and it will be managed by the community itself. A few more. Few more here. Hey there, Program Meta.js. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions what I'm working on, don't hesitate to pop them into the chat. Where did you learn programming, says Bucky5, and what's your full-time job? I'm a senior software engineer. I've learned to program. I started when I was a little kid. I did other stuff for 10 years. I came back into it. I guess programming on the internet taught me a lot, and then just doing a lot of stuff. Is there a reason you're coding it and not using Nightbot for that? Yeah, because Nightbot doesn't give me the functions that I want, where you can accrue a currency and then you can wager on a song and wager to have them move up and down. I did a plug DJ Twitch bot once. I don't know what that quite means. Keep the votes in. Looks like you guys are going to get it here. Did it break? It looks like it broke. Did it break? It's interesting. Looks like that it broke a little bit. Never seen that before. To be honest though, Nightbot is lame. Yeah, I'm using MooBot right now, and I don't like it a lot. Okay. Here we need to add this in. I find it fascinating that it broke a little bit, and Plug DJ is a website. I've never heard of it. I think Streamlabs has a currency where you can get it and use it for song requests. Yes, but it's not a game. It's still a purchase. I wonder why this thing broke. That's fascinating. See, he went past the word. Weird. It's okay. He's still going to be a win. I don't understand why he didn't stay synced up there. Nicely done. Let me know if we want to play another game. I can get it started. This ping pole needs to have those. This one is good now. We can rebuild it. I figured it out as soon as I saw the two R's. Yeah, I didn't know which one that was. You want another one? Now, sometimes my stupid API that I'm using to retrieve words will pick a bad word. So let's try that. Not like a foul language word, but a word that doesn't really exist. So let's see. See, this is interesting. All it's giving me here is black flowers, and there's a random chance of it giving like 7 different colors of flowers. So it's interesting that it's not doing that right now. We go ahead and we add our currency pools. We'll add all our services. We'll get rid of that up there. We'll rebuild it. Now, in hubs, I need to make a new hub, and I'm going to call this thing my OpenDJ hub. OpenDJ Radio Hub. What? 5 guesses and a huge word? Yep, the smaller words are much, much harder. The larger words are much, much easier. So that's why that is the logic in there. This needs to be .cs. And I'm going to say that this is my OpenDJ Radio Hub. And in this, we want to have a chat hub, which we're mapping. I guess we don't need to have a We'll have a ping poll and a currency poll. Same thing here. That's fine. The currency poll needs to happen in a room, so we actually don't need this here. Okay. And then also we need to have a request user information. Yep. Update user information. Yep. Request room. Yep. Receive room. Yep. Request playlist. Request song next. This one, I'm going to move this out and put this in a music hub. Request songs queued, request song queued, create song queued, and delete song queued. Those need to go inside of the room. This one doesn't. Request search YouTube goes both. Request currencies, request currency active. We can get rid of this. I don't need that. We have my ping response. On connected and on disconnected. So on a radio hub when we're connecting, we're going to get out a token, no room code. And you're adding the room if it doesn't exist here. And in this case, we're just going to say that my room is equal to my user ID. And if it's null, then we're going to create it. And otherwise, we're going to read a connection, and if not, we'll create it. And then I'm going to create my user room and then send over this chat data of receive application user room. So now the first thing is I want to change this model to be my, when you receive data, you're only going to receive a application user. Like that, and then we'll pass in the application user. And instead of passing this as chat data, I'm going to just pass this as an application user. Like that. Okay? You guys got to try to get a majority on your votes there. Also, you have a GetUserID here, which is going to read the connection, and if it does not, if it's null, then it's going to check a connection here, where I can remove the room code again. Same deal. Where we attach it. We're going to read the room code of the user, get the room, make the connection, and then return it. So that looks pretty good. So now in my startup, I need to have my hub, which is here. So this one is called a Open DJ Radio Hub, which we're going to call it as my Open DJ Radio Hub. Okay. And then on my front end now, I can look at my, interesting that node modules has an error. I can look at my hub service here, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit. So first things first, where we have the iChat data, this goes away. And now in my hub, you want to connect here with your token, but no room code. And I can get rid of my application user room currency. The song next received, a song queued received, a song's queued received. And a currency active received. We can get rid of all of those. So here, this is now going to be an application user, which will be a I application user. And we're actually going to assign that here as an I application user. Call it a application user. No letters yet. This is rough. I'll help you guys out here. Like that. And then I'm going to have this new subject here called user information received. And I'm going to say that this is called a connection received. And we'll pass in my user. I'm going to scrap these for now. And I'm going to move that also to my notepad. I'm also going to get rid of this receive application user information, which we'll remove off the hub. No. Wait. We're going to change this to be called receive application user. And I'm going to change this to be a application user received. Look, it's still breaking. So there's something going on here with my app where he's breaking and not... This is crazy. It's been working all this time. I probably need to restart my overlay. That's weird. We haven't seen that before. And then we can get rid of this one. And then in my onConnected, we're going to receive my application user. Like that. And same thing on my disconnected. You should have this as a return, okay? So for each room, do you assign who the DJ is? It's the owner of the room. What is going on with this thing? Interesting. I'll restart the overlay after this game. The DJ is the owner of the room. Okay, so everybody gets their own room with their own name of the room. That has to be unique. So I could make my room called Liver Dev Trying or Liver Dev, and then you could join to it. And then, well, the game, he's not supposed to collect the fruit until you finish the game. So we'll restart it. It should be working fine after we restart it. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. Receive rooms, receive room, receive playlist, receive playlist, receive currencies. I don't care about this one anymore. Receive songs. Receive song playlist. Receive search YouTube. This one goes away. Force server disconnect. Receive songs queued. Receive songs queued. Those go away. Ping request stays, and this one goes away. Which hub is it connecting to? That's in appcomponent.ts chat hub. We want to make this open DJ radio hub. So now I want to go ahead and say that my send message, this goes away. As does this one. And then we lose get user information, which is called get application user. We can get rid of this one. We can get rid of this one. And this one. Okay. We only have one error left here, which is this one, so we'll cut that out. Okay. And now I have some errors here in each of my components. So if I look at room-component.ts, this is called get application user information. We can comment this one out, and this one out, and this one out. The next one is on queue component, which is under shared queue. We can comment both of these out because this is now under a new hub. And then an account component, this one needs to be get application user. Hey there, Crick. Cat, Crick, welcome to the channel. Welcome. If you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. So Pella, it won't let you guess the whole thing yet. I don't have that. You have to get each of the characters to get it. Root component still says it's breaking down here. Because this is an add song to playlist, so we'll comment this out. To playlist, that's an error. And then messages in chat component doesn't exist anymore. All right. Okay, so now, when we're connecting here in my app module TS, the first thing that I'm doing is I have what I'm calling a hub service. So I should change the name of this service to be called a well, that's okay. And then I'm going to say that if we get a disconnect subscription, then I want to disconnect and log out. If we get a ping, we want a pong. And then when I get an OAuth event, I want to connect to the hub. And on this one, we can say if my this.hubService.is connected, then we can connect to the hub as well. Okay. So when this happens, we're going to get a this dot, and we need to have a application user subscription. And we'll add that in here as an application user subscription, and I'll say this dot application user subscription is equal to this dot hub service dot get application user dot subscribe of my application user, which is an I application user. Who's voting for a P? I think you want a V there, guys. And then this application user well, nothing happens when I do that, but I do need to now check to get my current room. But my current room is nothing, so I just get my user and I store it in my hub service. So that means now that then in my HTML, I have these routes. With a title. If it's authenticated, then we say welcome. But you could also say, if it's not connected, so we could say if my claims does not equal to null, and this dot claims does not equal to undefined, then you'll start it here. And then when you're logged in, we can show my router outlet, which will point me to this. So if I'm in a home, I don't have anything on my component, and I'm just presenting me to a room. And in here, we need to have my new service called a, and here we're subscribing to my parameter. I need to have a new service in the room called a, so we'll scaffold out a new service. This is for requesting the room when you come into it. And so here we can do a this.hubService.requestRoom for my this.room code. So we can have a request room by room code, which is a room code, like that. So on the back end, I'm going to have a request room by room code, which is my room code. In this one, I should have an overload in here. Nicely done. Is that correct, Dakotas? You've won 3? So let me go ahead and change this thing here. So we're going to say if my string is not null or empty of my room code. Do you want to play again? I can start it up again. Then we're going to read room code. Otherwise, we're going to get the default room. And we'll pass it in by the ID. And this is called received room, which is fine. So back on the room component, we're going to go ahead and load the room here. But here we have this is a connected to hub subscription. So if that is the case, then we do want to request the room code. And then I can get rid of this request currency active. And then this is my YouTube subscription, which looks good. Okay. Let's go ahead and start up our app now. Yeah, I'll take a break. Let me know when you're ready for another one. We'll get it going. We'll log in here. Oh, I don't have the back end running, so that's not going to work. So this time I want to check to see my on connected. And then also I want to check my request user information. So we'll log in here. Tells me I got an error here because we removed it. Sign in. Okay, it's hit my unconnected. We're gonna step through it. Should make a user, create my new username for my room, read my room, create my connection, and then return my application user. So then back on the front end, your connected to hub subscription should be your application user received. Where's your connection? You have a connected to hub service, which we're going to change this to be called a application user subscription. like that. In this one, we'll do an alert requesting room 1. And down here, we'll do a requesting room 2. And then we'll do that. Let's go ahead and run it. Okay, we got my unconnected. Requesting room 1. And that should be here, here. So it should be requesting room with the room code, request room by room code. Okay, so now we're connected. It never requested my room, did it? If it did, I didn't put a breakpoint. So we'll log out, we'll try it again. And it is requesting my room. My room code is null. So it should get my room, and it does, and then receive my room should be firing in here, and we're going to say alert received room. Try that again. Received room. So that's great. So when we receive this room, I want to send some more information than that, right? What is that going to send? It's a VM, so that includes a list of my songs queued that are DTOs with a weighted value and a song request type. So the next thing is you want to know if you're the owner of this room. So what that means is in your request room by room code, we want this to be a couple of pieces of information. We're going to change this to be request room information. And in this, I need to have a view model, which I'm going to say is called a room information .cs. And in this, we want to have an application user room. Just a second as I check my model. You have an isOwner on it. So this should be a DTO. And then also we want to have a currency, which is the prop application user room currency DTO called application user rooms users application user rooms currencies room currencies. and that needs to be a VM. Interesting. So it's like redundant because your currency should already include the room. And I did already request the room, right? So I think that that's okay. So we're going to make this thing return a room VM here. It's called a room information equals a new room information. And we need to have my room here is my whatever we're going to find it to be. And then the room currency, which is, and we'll get that moving here too. So when I request my room information, we should make a new hub called roomhub.cs. And in this one, we want to have most of the same stuff, including the currency pool. Okay, like that. We need to have this currency pool. We need to have a dispose for it. On connected here, we need this to be a room code. And then this one. Now wait a second. You're reading the user ID of my user here. And then when I'm requesting a room, I'm going to get it for the default room. Otherwise, I want to get it for my room. Okay? And then here, we want to do this as a we want to pass across the room information here when we connect. Which needs to be a room currencies and the user room, which is the application user room. And this needs to be a mapper.map to an application user room DTO. Good morning there, Vince Sola. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. And then this is going to be called receive room information for this one. Now currencies, I need to get my currencies in the room. So it's a await my services dot, and you should have a read currency application user room currency for my application user room .id and my currency.id. So what I want to do here is I want to say var currencies equals await service dot read currencies. And this should only read the active ones. Yep. And then it's a for each var currency and currencies. We want to read it. Called room currency. Like that. And I want to say if my room currency is equal to null, then I want to do a room currency equals await service dot create room currency. And we want to pass in my new request here, which is my application user room dot ID, my currency ID, and my quantity of 0. And then here we want to say var room currencies equals a new list of application user room currency VM. It doesn't make sense. Okay. And then here we're going to say room currencies dot add my room currency. Then we're going to return my base unconnected, and then this is my room currencies, which needs to be a to array. Okay. So looking back here, when we are requesting a connection event, I'm creating a room here, and then I'm doing that to make a connection, and then receive the application user. Okay, so back over here now, we need to make a new service, so we'll do an ng generate service, and we're going to call it a room service. Let me delete that. I'm not happy with that. I'm going to call it room hub service. And we'll look at this one for the guide. And when I pull up my room hub service, the first thing I want to have is a new connect to hub method, which goes here. And we need to have my hub connection here. And I need to pass in here the OAuth service, like that. We need to have import SignalR. And in this one, we also want to have our room token. So in here, we want to have a new private called room code, which is a string. We want to say, and my room code is equal to plus my this dot room code. Ordering components, you say, what you get? Hey there, abandon the ship. No, I'm just bringing all my different components in together and linking them up. So we don't have a receive application user anymore. What we do have is a receive room information. And in this, we're going to get a interface called iRoomInformation, which will be a application user room with a application user room, and then also a application user room currencies, which is an application user room currency array. And now for this one, we want to say this, it's going to be a application user room currencies, which is an application user room currency array, and then a application user room, which is a application user room, and that should be a VM here. So here we're going to do a room currencies equals room information dot application rooms currencies, and the user room, which is this one. And then we're going to have a room information received here, and we're going to pass in an room information. So that'll be a we're going to say that this is a room received subscription. Just say room information received, which is a subject of a room information. Like that. Hey, damn, I can fly. I know you're busy as hell, but I was wondering if you had a bit of time to answer your question. Sure, no problem. What's going on? Okay, and then we'll start our hub here. So on my room component now, we also want to have in here a private room hub service, which is a room hub service. So here, if you do this, we're going to do a, when we get my application user information, we want to do a room hub service dot connect to the hub. And I need to pass in my hub URL here, which is this one. And this hub is called Room Hub. I don't think I'm ever getting the room here right now, right? Okay. And that should be it. That should connect you to the room. And then we should be able to do a, on my room service, I need to have these things. Called a get room information, which is a room information here, and this is a room information received. And this is going to be, this function is fired when the hub first connects. And so here we're firing my room received information, which means on the room hub, I can do a this dot room received subscription is equal to like that. We need to add that one in here. And then we want to say this dot, and now it's my room service dot get room information dot subscribe, which is called room information. And when I do this, I want to do an alert, which is a received room information. I see the chat, just 1 second and I'll get to it. I just want to finish this train of thought. And then we want to do this iRoom needs to be equal to user room dot room. And then I can say my room code is equal to this dot room code. My no search snippet. This needs to be a application user room currency called currencies. Okay. You need to request your songs queued here, right? So now I want to say if it's the owner or if it's not the owner, then it gets different things here. So we want to say if it is the room owner, then request the next queued song and then load the queue. If it is not the room owner, request the next song and position, then load the queue. Okay. Let's test it, and then I'll answer the questions in chat. So this time I'm going to log out. Need to start my back end. Okay. Says that I have these problematic areas in here, which is that this needs to be a room hub and this needs to be a VM. This one here is a currency pool, which is a currency pool. This one here is the room hub. Hey there, Drumbles. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. That one there. And then here, when I'm requesting my room information, where was I returning the currencies? In your onConnected. Okay, let's give it another run. I need to make sure that instead of this being a chat hub, that I have a room hub, which is called a room hub. And we'll run the back end. We'll start up the front end. Okay, I'm on my OpenDJ Radio hub. That fired. Now I'm on my room hub. It's connected. We're going to pass in my room code, which shouldn't be one. We'll get my room. Set the currencies here, because I don't have any currencies currently. Then we'll set the room information. Which is here, which I thought we subscribed on room. Room information received. Well, let's see what the problem is on the console. It's going to tell me that I don't have some fields, I think. That's fine. That's fine. Received room information. Says cannot read property of next of undefined. Just a second. Derp, derp, derp. Like that. Try it again. That's still running. Log out. Log in. Log in. Connected. Connected. Received room information. Good. Okay. I quite often create like a class with quite a few properties. Along with that, I always want to be able to bind these to events to get notified when they change. However, I feel like when I'm typing the same code over and over and over again for the same kind of thing, and I'm wondering if you knew a better way to do it. So I looked at iNotify property change interface, but it seems like it's held require no strings at all, which would cause refactoring. It's just keeps me gathering setters, which the property change events, it all seems black. So I have a pretty common practice with the way I code stuff. If I pull up Ali chat, so what I typically do in an app is that I have a domain layer, and my domain layer has my entities in it, which are things that are tables inside of the database. And then I extrapolate those into a library in my module here called a library, and I have a copy of those, which are DTOs. DTOs don't have anything except for primitive values on them. And then view models, which have the same things as DTOs, and then also a copy of the objects that they contain as DTOs. From that, I now have groomed objects that I can send across the pipeline. Each one has its own scope, and I don't have to worry about anything having circular mapping problems. So I use an auto mapper to map between the types. And then when it comes to the business logic where I actually create those services, if I look inside of one of these, I have a base service bot, which is passing a whole bunch of generics, so this might not be the best one. But essentially, these things all store my events. So anything that says a BLL after it has my event handlers on it and events, and that's holding a reference to my view models. So I have just simple structures that are holding data, and then a more complex BLL structure, which I don't pass around, which has all of my events. And that is a pretty sound structure, I find, because I can manage everything in BLL and then pass the VMs and DTOs everywhere I need to, and I don't run into any problems. Did that kind of answer your question? So now that we've received the room code, the next thing is I need to request the queue. Now what I want to do is I want to say, we're going to make a new function on here called onConnected, and we're going to pass in this and then fire my received room information. And I want to say if my application user room.isOwner, then we're going to do a await clients.caller.send asynchronous. And this is going to be receive song next. And we want to pass in here my first var song next equals await my services dot DQ song asynchronous from my room ID and my application user ID. And then this one's going to be song next. And then I finally want to do await my clients.caller.send asynchronous receive queue, songs queued. And we want to pass in here my var songs queued equals await my service dot read songs queued. And then I want to do my room.id, and then we'll pass in my songs queued here. So over here we need to have a new one called this.hubConnection.on, and this is going to be called receive song next. And we're going to pass in here my song request, which is an iSong request. And we're going to say if this fires if this is the owner room, is if this fires if this user is the owner and is validated by the backend. And then I want to do here an alert, which is received song check log, and then we want to do a console.log for my song request. The other one I wanted to do was this.hubConnection.on receive songs queued. This is going to be a songs queued, which is a iSong queued array. And we want this to do a this one needs to be a alert received queue check log, and then we'll do a console.log of my songs queued. No. Okay. We can have two subscriptions up here now. One for my song next received, which is an iSong next, iSong request, and then a songs queued received, which is a iSong queued array. Down here we want to have a get songs queued, which is a iSong queued array with a songs queued. And then we want to get a get song next, which is an observable of a iSong request, which is return this dot songs next received dot as observable. We want to have something here called a request songs queued, which will be an observable of an iSong queued like this. Sorry, no. Like this. Request songs queued. And we need to pass in here the interesting. We need to create a new function in here called public asynchronous task request songs queued, which needs to be a room ID. And in this, we'll do a try and a catch. And then we want to do a var songs queued equals await my service dot get songs queued. Sorry, read songs queued. Hey, doggy 205GV, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. What are we making? Song request app. Welcome to XSS. Oh, neat. I won't be here long just seeing what other streamers are doing in this kind of style. I'll hit follow and come back. Thank you. No worries. Want to see something cool? Can we have a zombie? Oh, you want to play a game? Hungry Zombies? Sure. This is going to be read songs asynchronous. Oops. One more second. Okay. And we want to pass in here my ID. And then, hey there, Feed Pokos. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, what I'm working on, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. And then here we want to do a response here, which is a receive songs queued, which will be my songs queued. Beautiful. So here we need to have this dot songs queued received dot next of my songs queued. This right here needs to be a song next received of my song request. And this one needs to be a room information received. Looks good. So now in my room component, this is where we are subscribing my room information. And then we also have a this.roomhubservice.get songs queued .subscribe, and that's going to be songs queued here, and we want to put those on the this.songs queued equals songs queued. And then this one, when we get a this.get song queued, we want to subscribe this as a song queued. And when we do that, we want to do a this.roomhubservice.request songs queued. For my this dot room dot ID. This is going to be an alert for the getting next songs. That should do it. Let's go ahead and give it a run. Start at the back end. Start this one up. We'll log out. We'll log in. Sign in. Okay, we've connected to the OpenDJ app. We've connected to the next hub. We've received my room information. Interesting. Okay. Then it should have fired my receive song next. or my receive songs queued, but it didn't. So let's try it again. Your Twitch name is so good, I just had to come check out the stream, says Ryan Holen. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Okay, so my room here, it is. Hey, Ryan Holen, thank you for that support. I appreciate it. Okay, so it's saying that it can't DQ the next song, is the error. So let's fix that. Get your votes in, guys. Okay, so this time when I look to see when I try to DQ the song, my song queued is null, so I'm going to get my next song playlist. And now I want to say, if my next song playlist does not equal to null, then we want to do this. Like that. Try it again. Gotta get your votes in. Oh, I didn't restart it, so it might break again. Remember how it's been breaking today? It's weird. Log out. Log in. Sign in. Here we go. We get my next song, which is nothing, and then it should fire across the pipe and it says received room information, received song, check log, getting next songs, received queue, check log. So if I look in the queue, there's none. And if I look in the song next, there's none. And this one we want to say, if my song request does not equal to null and my song request does not equal to undefined. Okay. So now we'll log out. We're going to create a playlist this time. And a currency. Queue component. Can't destroy them right now because we don't have them hooked up. But if we change this to be a private room service as a room hub service, then I can uncomment these and uncomment these and make this a room service. And if you look at this one for one song, get song queued as just one. This is receive song queued. You're going to return the song queued. And then also you want to do a this.request songs queued. And then we want to do a song queued received like that. And this needs to be a song queued dot. And it needs to be in the room, which is your room code. This needs to be called request songs queued, right? Hold on. What do we call that in the hub? Request songs queued, and you're passing in your room ID. Like that. You no longer need this subscription here. We should be good to go. Hey Munzie, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Make sure you guys get your votes in here. Back on the app. We'll log out. We'll log back in. Cannot read value of ID of undefined. That's okay. It's going to try to dequeue the song, which will say nothing. When we look at playlists, what's going on there? That should have done a receive song next, which is here. Right? And then you should also get your receive songs queued, which is a hey, receive songs queued. And it never received the song next because it was null. Room component says that it has some unsubscribes here. Room information component. Application user room subscription. Application user room, this one goes away. Room receive subscription's good. Currency subscription is not. This dot songs queued subscription is equal to that. this dot song next. You have a song next subscription. Is equal to this. And then the last one here is you have a YouTube, right? Subscription, which looks good. Try it again. We'll make a new currency here. All right, so we'll log out. I'll log in. Could be millionth, it could be zillionth. How many more guesses do you guys have? Receive song next, receive songs queued. So when I look at playlist and currencies, I'll create a new currency called pixels with a weight of 1. Quantity increase will be 5 every 30 seconds, and we'll save it. Now, in my currencies, you should have a create currency. Okay, and fired. We look here, we get the ID. It says nothing. Nope. Let me try that again. My application user room connection is not null. And you're going to read your application user room, which is not null. You get your ID. And we create it. So I don't understand what that problem was. And now we'll make a new playlist here called playlist 1, and I'll save it. There it is. And I can add in here a Miley Cyrus search. We'll add this one to the song. And now when I go to the room, it was supposed to do a connect to this hub, right? Because this is where you're getting your room receive subscription. Otherwise, you want to request room, which will do this. Where is it? And we want this one, request room information on connected. So let me stop the backend for a second, because also when I do a request room, okay, in here, I want to get this information here, right? So I need to get my room information. First, my room currencies, which are here. Which first needs to get the application user room, which is from here. Right here. So I'm going to say var user ID equals await get user ID asynchronous, and then we're going to get my room here. This is called user ID, and this will be just ID. Then you're going to create it here as an ID with a user ID. This is ID. This is user ID. And this one is ID. So that way, if your hub service is connected, then you're going to connect to the hub, and you'll request this room code, which is this.room.id. Now that's probably incorrect. It's this.room code. Like that. And then instead of doing this one, we want to do this.room code, which means that over here this needs to be a string for the room code. This needs to be the room ID, so we need to get the var room equals await service dot read room asynchronous of my room code. And now if my room does not equal to null, then we need to do this. This is room.id. Same thing here and here. Okay. Well, you have request room by room code in your hub service. Which we can remove. So I think we're good to go now. We'll start the back end. Did you click room or home? What do you mean? You guys won. Congratulations. Is the back end running? The back end's running. We'll log out. We'll log in. Sign in. Receive room information. I was expecting it to run this, but it never did. So let me try that again. That's here. We're assigning my room code now. But I was also expecting it to do a I was expecting it to also fire this receive song next. Oh, but it's failing here, so let's see why. When we look, we're going to get my queued song next, which should be null. Now we're going to read my song, which should be a playlist and then a selected song. That's good. Then we're going to create my song history record. Try it one more time. Okay, null at room code new says it fired a null. I don't see where that was happening. Null exception. Try it again. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. null exception. Room code new through an exception. So if I look in the service, I don't see how that's failing. I need to check the database. So what I'll do right now is, one second here. All right, I'm gonna take a short break. I've been going for over 2 hours. I'll be back in, let's say, 11 minutes. When we come back, we should be able to finish wiring these things up. We have a lot of our components coming in the correct orders now, so we really just need to continue forward. If you have any questions when I'm working on this, is a good time to put them into the chat. Also, make sure you check out the youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com, and discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. I will see you guys in just a little bit. Thanks for staying with me.